We have 2 minutes to go. Before we begin, I'd like to know where you're joining us from. Who haven't we heard from? Let's see. Olive, you had mentioned you're not able to unmute at the moment. Please do tell us where you're joining us from.
I'm in the UK.
Ah, wonderful. Dan Odero, where in the UK?
United Kisumu. Next to
Wow.
Basen.
Please tell us more about United Kisumu. Some of us have not heard of that place. Unfortunately, imagine. It's a
United
crime.
Kisumu it's a great area. Lots of rain here, lots of fish. We're enjoying it. Unfortunately, today, I hope I'll be on as long as I can. Our electricity is gone, so I'm on battery life. So if I do disappear, excuse me, but here we are. I've been here for about a week. I'll be back in Nairobi next week. It's a great place. Very hot in the day, lots of rain, lots of fish, and enjoying it. I'm here with my folks, my mother and father, so I'm feeling very spoiled, enjoying being at mom and dad's feet. Thank you, and back to you, DTM, Dr. Rubia.
Thank you, Dan Odero, all the way from United Kisumu, enjoying mom and dad's presence, of course, with the food that comes along. I'm sure you're also going to enjoy yourself in the next 1 hour, which begins now. Ladies, gentlemen, and anyone in between, welcome to Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club. I am the acting president. My name is Kevin Rubia, and I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. In case this is your first time at Watabaruku, here is more about us. We are an advanced club, and Watabaruku means people who gather for social purposes in Swahili. Kiswahili is the East African language. We are an online advanced club founded in District 114 East Africa and open to members worldwide, dual or otherwise. If you belong to another club, we would still like to have you. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communication and their leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. That is our mission. How do we do this? At Watabaruku, we have triple-tiered evaluations. That means each speaker is evaluated based on the content, delivery, and language used in their speech. And these criteria are based on the Toastmasters International Accredited Speaker Program, Judges Guide, and Ballot. Our meeting themes, such as today, Let's Go Technical, are inspired by the advanced communication manuals of the Toastmasters Legacy Program. How many of us are familiar with the Toastmasters Legacy Program? Please let me know in the chat. Third is that we have educational workshops designed to deepen speaking and evaluation skills every 5th Friday of the month. In October, we'll have a session on 30th where we'll talk about speech contests. I hope you'll be there to attend. Watch out for posters soon. When does Watabaruku meet? We meet every 2nd and 4th Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. East African time. You can become a member as long as you have completed level 3 of any path in your Pathways learning experience. At this juncture, I'd like us to usher our Sergeant at Arms to the stage to give us the meeting guidelines. Over to you, our very able Tigist Hailu.
Hey, can you all hear me? Can you see my shared screen as well? Okay, very good. Thank you so much, DTM Kevin Rubia. It's a great pleasure for me to be sharing with you our meeting etiquettes for this evening that will help us make the meeting enjoyable and smooth. And we are able to recognize everybody in the room as well. So I'll start with the renaming convention. First, it will be about those with specific roles this evening. So as is on display, the renaming convention is you start with a hashtag, and we have abbreviations for each role taker or role. So if you're TMOD, please rename yourself as hashtag TMOD _ and then your name. Speakers, hashtag SP. We have 2 speakers today. So if you're speaker number 1, hashtag SP number 1 _ your name. And the second speaker, accordingly, you number yourselves. Topics master, hashtag TT _ and then your name. Timer, hashtag timer _ your name. Grammarian, hashtag GRA _ your name. General evaluator, hashtag GE _ your name. Content evaluator, hashtag CE. Because we have 2 content evaluators, the content evaluator for the first speaker will rename themselves as hashtag CE number 1, and the second one will also number for themselves accordingly, _ your name. Delivery evaluator, same thing, hashtag DE, the number of the speaker you're evaluating _ name. If you're a Toastmaster who is a member of Watabaruku or visiting us from another club, but you don't have a specific role this evening, please rename yourself by providing your name _ in the club that you come from. If you're a guest, we also request you to write guest _ and then your name. I will be sharing this shortly in the chat so you can continue to refer to it. It can be a bit daunting if you're seeing this for the first time, but it helps us to recognize within the room and identify one another. So in terms of etiquettes, we have some very basic guidelines for the meeting. The first one is, given that this is a virtual meeting, please keep your video on throughout the meeting as much as possible to remain fully engaged and also support our speakers and role takers this evening. The second one is, please make sure your microphone is on mute unless it's your turn to speak. Then please feel free to engage using the emojis in the chat. These are functions available to everyone throughout the meeting. And use the polls to give feedback and vote. Given that this is an advanced Toastmasters club, the biggest benefit that it offers to the members and speakers and role takers who join us is to provide thoughtful feedback. So apart from the structured feedback that will be provided, we all have an opportunity to also provide feedback. So at certain intervals, we'll be launching polls for you to comment on speakers, give them constructive feedback, encourage them where you feel they have done well. So you will be notified at the different intervals when polls will be launched, and you're very strongly encouraged to participate as your way of contributing to the growth of your peers. And finally, please enjoy. If you're a first-time visitor, make sure you visit us again and consider becoming a member. Thank you. Back to you, DTM Kevin Rubia.
Is Kevin in the house?
Yes, yes, he is. Thank you very much. Tigist is our sergeant at arms, and I am the acting president. I am also the vice president of education of this great club. At this juncture, I would like to also introduce our executive committee present, executive committee members present, and we have our secretary treasurer, Sarah Wanjiko. Over to you to say hi.
Hello, everyone. We've heard of Sarah Wanjiko. I'm joining you from Mombasa, Kenya. Quite warm here, enjoying some soup though. And welcome to Watabaruku and have an amazing, amazing evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
The rest of the executive committee were not able to make it to this meeting. However, we shall still proceed to adopt the minutes that were circulated by our Secretary Treasurer, Sarah Wanjiko. Are there any objections to the adoptions of the minutes that were shared? Members of Watabaruku? There being no objection, thank you, Tigist. We shall therefore adopt the minutes of the previous meeting. And that's the sound of my gavel. It gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our Toastmaster this evening. Eric Alligator Makori is not only a charter member, but the charter vice president of education of this club. Since its inception in 2021, he has been a pillar from Watabaruku Bilingual Toastmasters Club to Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club as we know it today. A great friend and mentor and a past table topics champion, he is more than ready, willing, and determined to continue to soar in his Toastmasters journey. Join me, friends, in welcoming our Toastmaster of the day, Eric Alligator Makori.
What a glowing introduction, Mr. President. I really appreciate. And I tried to put myself on video, ladies and gentlemen. And today we're going technical, but somehow I won't be technically able to appear on video because of where I am right now. And it is due to this that I will continue to attend this meeting in the background as long as technology allows me to do so, and very humbly request our acting president, also vice president of education, Kevin Rubia, to take the mantle back and run this meeting on my behalf with a promise that I will revenge sooner rather than later. Over to you, acting president.
Thank you very much. I have very big shoes to fill. For those of us who've met Alligator and have met me, you will notice the size difference, and I'll do my best to fill his size 11 shoes. We are getting technical. And what does that mean? At advanced clubs such as Watabaruku, we are moving from the basics to the more technical speaking and evaluation skills. These skills that you are developing in this club through our meetings are geared to help us to become more seasoned speakers, not only at home, but at work. Throughout this meeting, I will share tidbits of how we can make our technical presentations, especially outside Toastmasters, more impactful. Before I do this, I cannot run this meeting alone. There is an able team that Alligator elected. It is shoe size 13. Thank you for the correction, not 11. And he has a team of a timer, not a counter, as you learn in Watabaruku, we have a grammarian who does that instead, and a general evaluator. To kick us off is none other than William Kopycki. Please, I hope I have pronounced your name correctly. Let us know your role today. Over to you, Timer William.
Thank you. I'm size 10.5 shoe, by the way. So thank you very much for letting me attend, and I will be your timer. I'm going to be keeping track of the time for prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. I will signal each speaker using the green, the yellow, and the red cards. For the icebreaker speeches, we have an icebreaker speech. That's going to be 4 to 6 minutes. So at 4 minutes, I will show you the green. At 5 minutes shall be the yellow, and at 6 minutes, the red. Following that will be a prepared speech, which is a project speech, as well as the general evaluator's report, and those are going to be 5 to 7 minutes. So again, at 5 minutes, you get green, you get yellow at 6, and at 7, the red. There's going to be audience feedback poll, which is going to run for 1 minute after each speech. So at 30 seconds, you get the green, yellow at 45 seconds, and red at 1 minute. Table topics and the language evaluations are going to be 1 to 2 minutes. So you will get, guess what? Green at the 1 minute, the yellow at 1 minute and 30, and the red at 2 minutes. And we, of course, speakers are advised to speak for at least 1 minute for the table topics. Content and delivery evaluations. This seems to be a unique feature here. So those are going to be 2 to 3 minutes. So green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30, and red at 3. Grammarian's report, 3 to 4 minutes. So green at 3 minutes, yellow at 3:30, and red at 4. Of course, keep speaking until you see the green background. If you stop too early, you may be under time. Once the red background is up, you have 30 seconds to finish before going over time. Finally, when all is said and done, I will deliver my report when called upon. And I would also like to note that I'm attempting to track the segments of our meeting. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, William, and welcome from DeepleSpeak Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Alligator had requested his role takers to give a response to how their Toastmasters journey has been, and this is what William had to say. His Toastmasters experience so far has been more conscientious about speech structure. He recently applied this effectively during a presentation he gave for a workshop at an American university last month, where he could make his points clear as 1, 2, and 3. Well done, William. Our next role taker is one of our newest members at Watabaruku, Winston Owino. He will be our super grammarian today. Winston, let us know about your role.
Certainly. My role this evening is threefold. I'll be acting as the accounter, the grammarian, and as a language evaluator. As the accounter, I will be taking notes on disfluencies and use of filler words and pause fillers. And of course, when called upon, I will give my report. As the grammarian, it is my pleasure to introduce the word of the day. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. And the word of the day is avail. A common word, yet used incorrectly most of the time. As far as part of speech goes, it is used as a noun or as a verb. And the definition is to be of use or advantage or to make use of something. Examples of correct use. As a noun, you could say, Despite the extra interview coaching, sorry, let me just refer to my notes over here. I'll take that up again. The extra interview coaching did not avail him when it came to the actual interview. That's using it correctly as a verb. As a noun, here is a correct use case. Manchester United has been implementing various strategies to win the English Premier League, but to no avail. As the language evaluator, I'll be called upon to speak on the use of language by the two speakers who have been scheduled to speak this evening. And with that, I cede control back to Kevin Rubia.
That word is particularly tricky. I'll see how I'm going to use it. Hopefully it will be to no avail. To no avail is a bad thing. More on that later. Let us go straight to our general evaluator, Dan Odero, competent communicator. Tell us more about your role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and members of this advanced club at Watabaruku. My role today is a general evaluator. I availed myself for the role pretty early and I'm ready to give my role. A little bit of a thing that I think we find, even if things do not go as we plan them, we still go ahead. As we speak now, my battery life is going down. I am praying and hoping that the electricity will be available before this meeting ends. If it doesn't, I will drop off. My role is to give feedback on how the meeting has run before the meeting, which I was doing already, during the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I'll give my report. Firstly, get the reports from the role takers, the timer, and the grammarian, and talk about things that we can do better or things that we can improve and what we have done well. This helps us to continuously improve, something that we continuously do. And if we avail ourselves to learn, we get better. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer. And just remember, it wasn't because of my fault of my own. Back to you, Mr. President, Vice President Education, Toastmaster of the Day, par excellence, Kevin Rubia.
Thank you, my hype master. And we hope the electricity avails you, or you'll avail the electricity. You'll make use of the electricity while it still lasts. Whenever we use the word of the difference wrongly or correctly, just do this, or you can as well clap. No, that is lower the hand. You can clap to celebrate the correct and wrong usage of the word of the day. Onwards onto our prepared speeches, which is the first section of every Toastmasters meeting. Toastmasters prepare by use of Pathways, which is the educational program in Toastmasters. The speakers have diligently worked with their mentors, which mentorship is a pillar of Toastmasters. Today we have two prepared speeches. Our first speaker is the president of Da Toastmasters Club, Rashmi Udeshi. She is also our District 114 Finance Manager. She will present an icebreaker that will be introduced by her content evaluator, Chapi Mwango. Chapi, over to you to introduce Rashmi's speech and its objectives.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Good evening, everyone. For some reason, my laptop is malfunctioning, so I'm trying to turn on my video. But regardless, it is an absolute honor to introduce my next speaker, Toastmaster Rashmi, who will be attempting her icebreaker speech today. So, Madam Timer, the speaker has requested 4 to 6 minutes, meaning red at 4, yellow at 5, and red at 6, or Mr. Timer. My apologies. Today I'll be evaluating the content side of her speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Toastmaster Rashmi. Dare, evaluate, shine. My story of learning to lead. Dare, evaluate, shine. My story of learning to lead. Toastmaster Rashmi. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening to you all. Today, if I have to tell you my story of dynamic leadership in one sentence, I will start with the time I was sitting in the office and ticking, and was wondering, where is this going to take me? From that time to today, I'm standing in front of you as club president of the Toastmasters Club and here to go over my journey. As I stood in the office and I was ticking. It was for my articleship, internship for accounts, for professional accountancy. And I was wondering, will I ever be an auditor? Is this going to take me somewhere, or I will be just a human machine? Going down the line, what this has taught me: to be authentic, to be precise, to be patient, and have perseverance. And through this, as I go ahead, I am wondering, as I am in this field as a leader, when I stepped into club leadership, I was not ready for it, or I didn't have answers to everything. I went in, I explored one step at a time. And what I realized over this time is that the key thing that I learned being a leader is not about having knowledge. It's about the 4 key things. And I will say those 4 things are key. It's called, we embraced it as a team. We availed the word team. And what does this mean? T. T is a very big word. It's together. Together we stand. E is the excellence we drive. A is action. Ideas without putting them in action is of no use. And finally, it's M, the momentum that we drive from being together. My exco was an amazing teacher. It taught me to organize, to be a mentor, and to work collaboratively. And going ahead, through my different experiences, wearing different hats as a professional finance and as an entrepreneur, educator, artist, and now a Toastmaster standing in front of you, I learned working solo is not what is leadership. Dynamic leadership is all about teamwork, collaboration, organization, guiding your team, being a mentor to your team. And this is what I learned and am still learning. And I embrace this moment. And to define this year, our theme at the Toastmaster that we have created is Dare, Elevate, Shine. We say, dare, from fear to courage we go. Elevate, from good to great we grow. And shine, from learner to leader in time. The Toastmasters, it's time to shine. And this I cannot do on my own. We are doing it together. We are a team. We have embraced our team and we are anchored with our values. We have a vision, we work collaboratively. When we come with our motto, one team, one vision, and one incredible voyage. And today, as I move ahead in this path of mine as a leader, as a dynamic leader, I embrace all of this. And from my journey, from being an article clerk, ticking vouchers, to what I am today, I have learned a lot. Collaboration. And this is about dynamic leadership. And finally, I will say that together we dare, we elevate, and we shine. The Toastmasters, it's our time to shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashmi, for shining and representing the Toastmasters at Watabaruku. Congratulations on your presidency and your icebreaker speech of your third path. As it is tradition in Toastmasters, we are to stand up for our icebreaker speakers, and celebrate this milestone, even if it's the third time. Well done, Rashmi.
Thank you.
Dare, elevate, and shine.
Thank you.
It's been a while since I stood at an online meeting and you've given me that opportunity. We'll have an audience feedback poll for 1 minute to give her feedback on her speech. Over to Sergeant at Arms. As that is launched, I will give us 2 responses. Hope you can listen as well as give feedback. Dan Odero had this to say about an aspect of Toastmasters that has helped him the most. It is the learning the art of active listening and receiving constructive feedback without taking offense, but rather appreciating the opportunity he therefore receives to work on his abilities for overall improvement. Learning to take feedback positively, as this is a safe environment to grow. Thank you, Dan Odero, competent communicator. As we continue to feed in our feedback, Rashmi had this to say about Toastmasters. Toastmasters has sharpened her confidence in communication and leadership. She applies it daily in leading teams, such as the Toastmasters Club, mentoring others, and creating impact with clarity and purpose. Well done, Rashmi. As we continue to put our feedback, I'll go straight to our next speaker, who is Njeru. Njeru availed the opportunity of speaking when someone else dropped off. Thank you, Anne, for coming along. And Anne will be evaluated by 3 evaluators, the first of whom is Wahiga Gichinga, the past Division C Director. Over to you, Wahiga, to introduce Anne Njeru's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Njeru is at the presentation mastery path and she is doing her research and presentation project. The purpose of this project is for her to learn basic research methods and present a well-organized speech that is well-researched on any topic. She has 5 to 7 minutes to present her speech. Make money, your employee. Njeru. Njeru, make money, your employee.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. By a show of hands, let me know how many of us invest every single month when they get their income. Wow, one hand there. Not many of us. Did you know that it is only 22% of Kenyans who have some form of physical asset, like a house or even land? Did you also know that it is only 15% of Kenyans who have some form of pension or long-term savings? More shocking, did you also know that it is only 14% of Kenyans who can raise 13,000 shillings in the event of an emergency? This is according to FinAccess survey conducted in the year 2024, and it was nationally representative. What this means is that it's only 17% of Kenyans who have some form of financial stability. 83% face prospect of financial instability without even an asset to pass on. Intergenerational poverty remains highly entrenched in our society, leaving future generations with the same vulnerabilities and few pathways out. That's why Kenyans need to shift from survival mindset to an investment mindset. The reason for this financial chaos is because none of us was taught how to make money work for us. Since childhood, we were told to study hard, get a job, and work diligently for money. However, if you work for money without making money multiply, you'll forever be trapped in a cycle where your life is measured on an hourly rate. You'll be trading your time for a paycheck. You never know freedom. By forever working for money, you'll be limited. You'll be drained of energy without a way out. On the other hand, if you invest and you make money work for you, you'll be able to control your cash flow. You'll no longer be ruled by it. As Warren Buffett said, if you're not making money as you sleep, you will forever be working for money. Investments are not for the super rich. It is creating the right habits around money. At least for every 10 shillings you earn, ensure at least a shilling is put aside to an investment account. For instance, if you're earning 50,000, ensure at least 5,000 is put aside for an investment. An average person spends all their money after paying bills. The wise person saves even before spending. That's why with the same pay, the wise person becomes wealthy, while the rest scrap from paycheck to paycheck. You can start small, you must start. You don't have to build an empire from day one. It's ensuring that the income that comes every month brings in more, not just providing short-term safety. No one will ever get rich through labor alone forever, because your body has limits, your time has limits. But invested money does not have limits. Invested money works 24/7. Some people think, let me get rich and then I will invest. That's a very dangerous mistake. The truth is, you must invest to get rich. It is in the habit of saving, learning, and starting early that creates a financial breakthrough later. Ladies and gentlemen, do not allow the mindset, I will invest when I have. Take your 10 years circling the starting line. Instead of waiting for perfection, start small. As they say, procrastination is the thief of time. I've seen even people say that they do not have money to invest, all in a while living in overpriced apartments and spending every weekend on emotional shopping. They are slaves to earn income. Their cost of life, the life license with the rising of their salaries. This is a very common trap. If you feel that you're not able to start investing, remember, capability does not come first. It comes after, when you commit. The beauty of today's world is, with your smartphone and even 100 shillings in your phone, you can start an investment account. You do not have to wait for financial advisors dressed in beautiful suits and millions in your account to start investing. You can use your phone better than just sharing memes and other jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, investing is not only about retirement, it is about creating choices. Whether you want to retire early, whether you want to buy a holiday home, or whatever you want to do in the future. And today I want to leave you with this. You must start investing now. Use what you have. Start where you are, but get on this journey. Get out of the 83% who may face financial instability and jump onto the boat of the 17% who are financially secure. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
I surely need to start investing and planning my financial position better. Thanks to your speech and Njeru. In the same vein, let us give her feedback so that she can do better and better in her public speaking journey. You have 2 questions that have been launched for you to answer. What did you like about the speech and how can Anne improve her next speech? As I give you her feedback to Eric Alligator Makori, who would have loved to be our Toastmaster of the day, to no avail. This was the response. Toastmasters has really helped her polish her leadership skills, but the main thing is group presentation. She is forever grateful to have been introduced to this wonderful community. If you haven't joined Toastmasters, let us know in the chat so that we can get for you a club that is near you. I appreciate your comment in the chat. I saw we had Olive, who has joined us from United Arab Emirates. Thank you for being with us today. What time is it there? As we continue to give our feedback, I will give us some tips to structure your approach when presenting to a non-technical audience technical material. This is what you should try to achieve when presenting technical material to a non-technical audience. Our theme, as a reminder, is Let's Go Technical. The first thing is to get their attention. Just like in Toastmasters, where we are shown how to grab an audience's attention, you can do the same thing while delivering technical speeches. A good way is to help your audience think by using a rhetorical question. For example, if you are going to present a technical presentation on artificial intelligence, a good question to ask your audience would be, what AI or artificial intelligence tools have you used before? And you can get direct responses. You can also ask them, how has your experience been? Or what do you know about artificial intelligence? That will help them think, and you can even begin to debunk some of the statements that they already give. Getting their attention from the start puts your foot in the door. It is the first step to help your audience understand the technical stuff that you're about to deliver. Tip number 1 is get their attention. After we give feedback to Njeru, another poll will be launched, and this poll will be the one to vote for your better speaker among the two. As you do that, I'll give you another tip. The next tip is win your audience's interest. Win your audience's interest. Remember, you had already got their attention by, for example, starting with questions, direct questions that they could answer. Just as a side note, it would be disadvantageous to start with facts and figures. We know that startling statements are good ways to start speeches. However, being a technical speech, you may have that as a main feature of your presentation. Hence, they need to use questions instead. How do we therefore win their interest, your audience's interest that are non-technical in nature? One is by responding to their questions, to the statements that their responses that they have given. For example, that they have found difficulty in navigating ChatGPT. What you can say is, by the end of this presentation, you will learn how to effectively navigate ChatGPT. You have turned whatever that seemed as an obstacle to begin with into something fruitful and something that they can look forward to. In winning your audience's interest, it's important to show the relevance of what you're going to tell them that day. By asking a question, for example, what do you expect to learn through this presentation? You tie in the audience's responses with your own objectives for that presentation. That makes them feel that they are in the right place. Tip number 1 was to get their attention. Number 2 is to win their interest. In the chat, I'd like you to tell me how your experience has been giving technical presentations. Have you ever given technical presentations before? Please type Y for yes in the chat or N for no in the chat. Let me know your experience with technical presentations. Thank you, Njoroge Maina. I have seen a Y from you. Y from Lydia Wanjiku, welcome. Lydia should be joining us from World Food Program Regional Bureau Toastmasters Club, Nairobi. Joyce Kibe, yes. I have given work-related technical presentations, and all times I try to make it a hands-on activity. Thank you, William, for that tip, our timer. Fatma Amio, I also see your yes. With the same enthusiasm as you have typed your yeses, I will urge you to avail, this is me trying to use the word of the day, to avail the table topics opportunity so that you can you can develop your public speaking, your impromptu speaking skills, and critical thinking skills. I invite Topics Master Sarah Wanjiku to take over from here by first reading her response to how Toastmasters has impacted her and what she has learned from it. She has learned to lead volunteers, not take anything personally, Dan, just like Dan and myself, especially blue ticks. Some of us, especially if you are a vice president of education, you will drink the waters of blue ticks. How to communicate her thoughts in an organized way, and that's what table topics also helps you do, and manage time, just to say the least. All this has helped improve Sarah's relationships, both personal and professional, with abundant results. Topics Master, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dr. President, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM, Kevin Rubia. Oh, that's a mouthful. I request for sharing rights, please. Please check your inboxes. I have sent a little message to most of you who are not role takers, but you'll do the needful. Do I have rights, please?
Yes, you
So
should.
as we wait for that, I'll introduce my role. Thank you, SAA Tigist. Greetings once more, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to Table Topics in Watabaruku Advanced Club. This is one of the best ways to practice thinking and speaking on your feet, or in other words, impromptu speaking, which will come in handy sometimes when you don't know. For example, when you're asked a tough question by your boyfriend or girlfriend, either another tough question by your supervisor, a news crew, maybe you're just walking, there's a news crew, and they ask you a question, at a job interview also. So this table topic session will benefit you to practice impromptu speaking and also to be in control of the situation, okay? Even if we don't know the answer, the more we practice, the better we'll get at it. So if I call upon you, just attempt. That is the starting point of you getting better. So the topics will go, your speech should be 1 to 2 minutes. Yes, we call it a speech, as short as it is, and it will be timed. So this is for you also to learn time management. I'm going to share my screen. I know our theme today is let's go technical. I'm going to use technology in a less technical kind of questions. Let's see how that will go. Sharing my screen. SAA, let me know if I'm on right now. Hello? Are we together?
Yes, I think the screen is loading, but you have the sharing rights. I think we give it. Yeah, everybody can see it? Okay, super.
Awesome, thank you. So a happiness backstory. This is how our table topics is going to go today. For 1 to 2 minutes, I will show you a picture. I will ask you a question about it. Then I'll show you 5 words as you speak, and you're going to integrate these words into your speech. Easy peasy, right? So first on, I'm going to request Brenda Kakai, Toastmaster, to attempt this question. Brenda, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Brenda, for this. You have already shown up. 100, no, 90%. You only need 10% to reach 100. That is your question. How did these 4 people become friends? The timer will start now. Please glue your face on the screen because of the following words that will help you build up your speech. Brenda?
Paul was a vibrant individual. He lived in an apartment block, and every evening he enjoyed a long jog in the neighborhood. His neighbor, Sarah, used to spend her evenings at home or go out for tea in a serene setting. But one day she noticed Paul going for his jog and thought, isn't that interesting? She was curious to find out what it was like when he went out and ran in the neighborhood. She asked him if she could join him, and he said yes. They did that for 2 weeks and decided for it to be more fun and to even attract more people to join them, they'll wear luminous jackets. And 2 other people joined them, Mary and John. John was a quirky individual. He cracked jokes all the way as they went on their evening jog, and they loved it and always looked forward to the next day for the next run. That is how those 4 individuals living in the same apartment block began jogging every evening. Over to you, Topics Master.
Thank you, Brenda. You must agree with me, she did amazing, amazing, amazing. For those of you blue ticking me in your inboxes, it's fun. You're just here to have fun. Please reply. I'm going to call upon somebody who is my namesake and I've not seen her in a while. Toastmaster Lydia Wanjiko, are you with us? I'd like you to kindly attempt our next question. Toastmaster Lydia?
Yes.
Awesome. Wanjiko's at the A team. Awesome. That will be a question, Toastmaster Lydia Wanjiko. Please, let's remember to also toss in the word of the day as we work with the 5 words. Toastmaster Lydia, the floor is yours. What is making this woman smile?
This is my friend Njeru. My friend woke up in the morning, and she's normally a very bold friend of mine because she likes exploring what is happening outside. So she woke up and she decided to look at what was happening outside. Then she made herself comfortable, leaning on a seat gracefully, and she was just admiring nature and laughing. But where she was hanging, it was a place that was a bit risky, but she was that fierce. She didn't worry about the risky in that place. And she was smiling and thinking, do I go to the office or do I stay at home? That smile that she had made her think twice, do I go? Then gently, she decided just to stare there. And the light that was there was a lot of radiant. And she never moved from that place where she was. And she was just staring nature and introspecting herself, what to do next. And that is what makes her day, when she feels she has had it all and she doesn't want to do anything else, rather than just thinking about what she will do next. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Wanjiko, for that amazing, amazing speech. I'm not going to call upon a guest. I hope she will be willing to attempt. Our guest is Olive Mugaga. I hope I have not butchered your name. If I have, kindly forgive me. Olive, are you able to attempt that question? Olive? Okay, yeah. Olive seems to. Yes, hello. Awesome. Hi, Olive. Hello.
Hello. I'm still busy, though I'm listening in. I'm really sorry. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know, Olive. Now, for the sake of gender parity, I will ask Toastmaster Eric Makori to attempt our next question, because apparently all the gentlemen head rolls this evening. Toastmaster Eric?
I am ready.
Awesome. Thank you.
I will avail myself the opportunity.
And take one for the team, right? Awesome. Your question will be, what are these people celebrating? And start.
This is Mombasa. They just arrived aboard a majestic cruise ship, and they had a tempestuous sea which had marred their playful nature. They didn't avail themselves to the use of their deck because of rough weather, and because of this, the clever coxswain made sure that they navigate away from their trajectory to the protective waters of Mombasa, the city of charming people. Oh, how inviting. So they are availing themselves of the warm climate and enjoying, even though, as you can see, one of these is a whimsical friend of that particular lady. You know, they just arrived and they just got to know each other. But the fact that they have arrived safely in the city of Mombasa is a cause for celebration. And I encourage you to always avail yourself of the opportunity to celebrate. Over to you, Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Eric Makori, for that amazing, amazing speech. Timer, do we have time for one more question, or do we end it there?
Indeed, we do have time for one more.
Thank you so much, Timer. I'm going to call upon Toastmaster Joyce Kibe from Blue Eagles Toastmasters Club to attempt our next question. Toastmaster Joyce, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Hi, Sarah.
Thank you. Hi, how are you? Long time. How have you been?
I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. This will be your question, Joyce. Where are these people vacationing? Remember, you can use imagination. I'm not saying you can lie, but this is impromptu. So where are these people vacationing, Joyce? And go.
The team just arrived at Masai Mara. They had all these dynamic program ahead of them. They really didn't know where to start. And so they started with photo shoot. As you can see, the tallest person in their midst is the one taking a selfie. They were all looking so elegant and ready for the vacation. They were all smiles, knowing what is ahead of them. With their cheerful smiles on their faces, you can tell they are in for a good time. When you see them, they're anticipating the next steps and all the mysterious projects and activities that are going to go ahead of them. Looking at them with all the colors well represented, from light blue to white to dark, all of them, they are very, very ambitious of what is going to go ahead of their trip. They're excited. They're looking forward to doing very, very many projects together. And with the photos to go back with the memories to show their friends back at home. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Joyce, for that amazing, amazing, amazing attempt. You are such a good sport, all of you. I had so much fun. I hope you did too. I'm going to recap on our speakers. Our first speaker was Toastmaster Brenda Kakai. Our second speaker was Toastmaster Lydia Wajiko. Our third speaker was Eric Makori. And our fourth speaker was Toastmaster Joyce Kibe. Thank you very much. Have an amazing rest of the meeting, and over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Well done, Sarah, and all table topics participants. That was an enjoyable session, wasn't it? I'm glad you got to participate, develop your critical thinking skills, impromptu speaking, listening, and timekeeping. Well done, Sarah, and all the participants. We shall proceed to vote for our best table topics speaker. We had Toastmaster Brenda Kikai, Toastmaster Lydia Wanjiku, Toastmaster Eric Makori, and Toastmaster Joyce Kibe. As we vote for them, let me share with you tip number 3. I'll first share the first 2 tips as a reminder. I shared in the chat. This is now tip number 3. Let us continue to vote. The third tip, friends, is to build understanding. In building understanding, we make the complex simple and the esoteric mundane. Esoteric means only known by a specific group of people. To build understanding, try to use everyday language and avoid jargon. If you must use technical words, friends, define them clearly to your audience. Remember, this audience is a non-technical audience. Use short, crisp sentences with active verbs like develop, maintain, illustrate. Those are examples of active verbs. Use examples, analogies, and comparisons to clarify your points and make technical material simple. You can start with the known to the unknown. Structure your speech according to a clear logical outline. A technical presentation, just like a speech, needs order so that it flows easily from point to point with smooth transitions. The third point, friends, is to build understanding while talking to a non-technical audience on technical matters. Without further ado, we'll go straight onto our evaluations, and I'll call on our first evaluator. Just so you know, friends, we have 3 evaluators per speaker. The first will be the content evaluator. Theirs is to look at speech development, speech structure, and the effect of the speech. Then we'll have the delivery evaluator who looks at nonverbal cues and the vocal variety. Last is our language evaluator who looks at the appropriateness and correctness of grammar. Our first evaluator is a content evaluator of Rashmi's speech. Toastmaster Chapi, over to you.
Hello, good evening, everyone again. So it is a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to evaluate Toastmaster Rashmi. As a content evaluator, I'll stick mainly to the content of my speaker today. So as we know, the purpose of our speaker today was to give an icebreaker speech to introduce herself. And the manner in which she chose it was to link her pathway, her third pathway, into her icebreaker to explain the why. At least that's what I understood, the why of how her speech was. So based on that, I'll start with the thing she excelled at. So my speaker started first and foremost by linking the purpose of her speech to her home Toastmasters club, Dar Toastmasters. Outside of that, as she spoke, she began to link the idea of leadership with her path and how it is herself. So from there, we can get an idea that her main motivation and purpose for coming to Toastmasters, among many things, is developing that leadership. Thereon, we can see that there was excellent language use as we began to see some languages related to Toastmasters, and specifically how her time at Dar Toastmasters was the time she understood her leadership. Coming to the point that I would suggest my speaker works on is, despite the content, the purpose of the icebreaker speech is to introduce the speaker to, for the speaker, to introduce herself to the rest of the audience. So based on that, I would have liked it if the speaker gave us a little bit of a reason as to her why she's doing the third pathway and expanding more on the idea of leadership. So to challenge yourself, Toastmaster Rashmi, I would encourage you for your next speeches to keep giving us more detailed speeches, not to be afraid to use vocal variety, and most importantly, to continue explaining about yourself. Thank you, and back to you.
I will take on the role of delivery evaluator as Teresa unfortunately could not make it due to an emergency. She made it to no avail. Rashmi, congratulations on delivering your third icebreaker in Toastmasters. When I grow up, I want to be like you. When we talk about delivery, friends, we are looking at 2 major aspects. One, vocal variety, the other, body language. I'll start with your body language, Rashmi. You excel at the effective use of gestures. Whenever you mentioned your points in team, you had 1, 2, 3, and 4. That helped me as an audience member flow with your speech. Gestures, friends, brings our speech to life. And that's what you did with your informative speech today, Rashmi. To take your gestures further, consider this. The title of your speech was Dare, Elevate, Shine. How can we demonstrate that? As it was a constant theme in your speech. Dare, I don't know about daring, but you can elevate it and shine. That being a constant theme in your speech gave you an opportunity to use your gestures more effectively. As we talk on body language, I would also encourage you, should you present yourself virtually, try to limit the space between the top of your screen and the top of your head. As a general rule, we can put a hand in between the two. That enables more of your torso to be seen and your gestures to be more vivid. Let's go to your vocal variety. You made great attempts to bring your speech to life. I think, though, you can bring it further, you can develop it further, as this is your third path, Rashmi. Let's take specific words in your speech and bring the increased pitch and increased volume. For example, you had a variety of contrasts. For like good to great. When we start from one end and go to another, that gives us an opportunity to not only use our gestures from good to great, but also increase our pitch and our volume when showing contrasts. Well done, Rashmi, on delivering your icebreaker speech here at Watabaruku. This being a challenge, this being your third path, I encourage you to dive more into the use of your body language more effectively and putting emphasis on certain words where appropriate. I wish you all the best as you continue to dare, elevate, and shine in your next speeches. I'll now call on the language evaluator, Winston, to deliver his evaluation. Winston, can you hear us? We are not hearing you at the moment. We are hearing you to no avail. As we give Winston a chance to work on his devices, I request that we move to the next batch of evaluators. And Winston, if you can hear us, we'll give you 2 to 3 minutes in your next language evaluation to evaluate both speakers. I'll start with Wahiga Gichinga, who will evaluate Njeru's content. She will then hand over to the delivery evaluator, Njoroge Maina. And last and certainly not least, we'll have Winston to give us the 2 language evaluations of the 2 speeches. Toastmaster Wahiga, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I'm Njeru. You want us to move from survival mode and invest. You excelled at giving us shocking statistics that only 17% of Kenyans are financially stable. That painted the picture of the challenge at hand with investments with Kenyans. You also said how Kenyans live on survival mode. You then proceeded to tell us why we need to invest, because we need to shift from survival mode and invest to make choices. That was such a powerful way to start a conversation with us to sell the idea of investment. You brought in the myths and busted them, that you don't need to get rich to then invest. And investment is not for the super rich. And that way, you cleared our mind and we were ready to begin investing or to know how we can invest, because right there, you brought down the walls that in our mind we have created on how we could invest. You asked us to start small. So you gave us a plan that as much as we don't have to be rich, this is where you can start with 100 shillings. I think that you made it so practical that you don't have to have so much money to invest. The image you created of why invest was selling. That it's not about retirement, because a 20-year-old would say, oh, I have 40 years to go. But it's about choices. So that was quite compelling to all people listening to you, that each one of us can invest and should invest. How would you want to challenge yourself? When is to build credibility. The questions in my mind after listening to such a powerful speech that you gave that was compelling to me to invest is, why do you qualify to tell me about investment? What qualifications do you have that allow me to buy into that idea? Or how have you invested yourself? Would have been great to hear that, or perhaps I missed it, because then it's a connection point with the audience that you know the subject matter, you mix with it, and then you are a trusted source for us to buy into. Second thing is a shocking statistics. It was a survey done in 2024. I didn't hear the citation of who did that particular survey, because it was the base of your conversation, and credibility on this base was so important, because we also want to check, was this a credible source of information about Kenyans? So that's something else to check in your future conversations and speeches. Something else that was done is the greeting before you started the speech. And that just told the dada of the speech, because the points that followed the greeting were the superpower. You know, asking us who has invested, then getting us into the details of how Kenyans have not invested. That was quite compelling. But the greeting stole the dada. But definitely the shocking statistics had us listening to you. It was great listening to you. And you had a very good citation of Warren Buffett. He's one of the richest men in the world. And that just adds credibility to your speech on why to invest. Timely speech, urging us to invest, and telling us, or even urging us not to procrastinate and start small. So to anybody in this room who has not started investing, definitely they will consider investing. Great speech, looking forward to another. And I hand over the floor to the delivery evaluator, Njoroge Maina.
I am here trying to exercise a bit as I prepare to jump into the boat of the 17% with financial stability. Notice how Anne encouraged me to do this by first using body language as her weapon. She was able to use gestures effectively in her speech, while she told us that we should be encouraged not to be like those people living beyond their means, going in line with the increase of their earnings, so that they increase their expenditure by living in apartments. And she did this to show apartments, which is a perfect use of body language. Anne was also able to use volume as a tool of vocal variety. She told us that instead of waiting for the perfect moment, start small. And she said the word start small with a lower volume, which signals the fact that she understands the use of volume as a tool of vocal variety. Some aspects she may consider improving on are first, her camera positioning. Her camera positioning was such that we could only see the upper part of her body from this section. She may consider positioning her camera next time in a manner that we can see her body up to her waist, which enables us to see the better part of her vocal variety. such that using her hands at this position can also be as comfortable as using them at this position. A second area she may consider improving on is the use of the pause. Indeed, many people fear the pause. But an area where she excelled in her speech was the use of well-researched points. Using the pause immediately after saying a point that you consider to be a heavyweight champion in your speech enables the audience to take it in. While you said that 14% of Kenyans can raise 13,000 Kenya shillings in an emergency, you'd have benefited from pausing after that statement by saying 14% of Kenyans can raise 13,000 Kenya shillings after an emergency. Pause. Right now, the timer is showing me the green card is thinking about how heavy such a statistic is. In general, you excelled in your use of gestures and volume as a tool of vocal variety, and you may consider improving on your camera positioning and your use of the pause in your armamentum of weapons to make your speech engaging. And continue encouraging fellow Kenyans and fellow human beings to make money their employee. Indeed, tomorrow, money is not something I'll be working for, but instead it will be working for me.
Toastmaster Winston, over to you to deliver both language evaluations in 2 to 3 minutes.
Just to clarify, I'm using the 2 to 3 minutes to deliver evaluations for both Njeru and Rashmi, correct?
Yes. Would you like more?
Hopefully 2 minutes each, but let me go ahead. Let's start with Rashmi. Your title is usually your first opportunity to showcase your mastery of language. And Rashmi, indeed, you presented yourself as someone who can use grammar to their advantage. The title, Dare, Evaluate, Shine, My Story of Learning to Lead. Quite captivating. You use the word of the day, showing that you can adapt to the situation and use language to suit the audience. As far as your speech criteria goes, let's start with speech development. Did you put your ideas together so the audience could understand? I felt you could have availed yourself of this opportunity to use the acronym that you introduced us to, TEAM, and build your points from there. And what this did is it denied you a better structure with which to present your speech. Now, for example, you could have made your points anchored on that acronym. So your first point could have been the T, then E, A, and M. Secondly, audience response. Was the subject appropriate for the audience? Yes, of course. You were asking us to borrow a leaf from what your club, Toastmasters, has done in order to perhaps improve things here at Watabaruku. As far as speech value is concerned, did you say anything meaningful and original to the audience, contributing to their thinking? Here, I'll focus on the purpose of your speech, which I believe you were delivering an icebreaker. Therefore, this was your opportunity to introduce us to yourself, even though you were doing this for the third time. So what I would suggest is you would have used what you've learned about leadership in Toastmasters to introduce how you lead as Rashmi. And that would have provided a fresh and new angle for you to deliver your speech. In conclusion, I feel there's an opportunity for you to take this speech to another level if you redo it, particularly if you structure your points around that acronym TEAM. And that would be the consideration I would ask you to make. William, let me know if I can proceed to the next.
Yes, please proceed.
Perfect. I'll now proceed to evaluate Njeru. I'll start with your title. Indeed, it was captivating. Make money your employee. I personally was excited to learn more about your chosen topic. You started off with a question that made us reflect deeply about how we plan and even invest our finances. Now let's come to the criteria I'll use to evaluate your use of language. Let's start with speech development. What your ideas put together in a way that we could understand. What I would say is, while you honed in on the need to invest, you could have brought your points out more clearly. Perhaps the structure you could have used was start with what the problem is, then bring us to the solution so that there's a balance in your content. You did a great job in showing us what the problem is through the statistics that you advanced within your speech. Secondly, what about audience response? Was your subject appropriate for the audience? Yes. Most of us, if not all of us, represent the working population. And we know the difference between our gross pay and our net pay. And sometimes we feel the money that checks into our account is perhaps not enough for our needs. Therefore, investment is one of the avenues we could use to grow our income. Therefore, indeed, this subject was appropriate for the audience. In terms of speech value, I felt that you did a great job of identifying where the problem is. Where you could have done better is introduce us to the solution. You've told us this is the percentage of people who actively invest their income, who can actively raise 13,000 shillings in case of an emergency. So the challenge for you was to introduce to us what can we do in order to be individuals who can save wisely and plan for that and even raise the emergency funds when the need arises. So in conclusion, I would ask you to perhaps take another stab at this speech, but this time around focusing on not just the problem, but also bringing out the solution. And with that, over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, evaluators. Content, delivery, and language. That is how it's done in Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club with the guidance of our very able timer. We shall proceed to vote for our best evaluator. Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. The poll has been launched. Please vote for your best evaluator as I give you the next 2 points to help you develop or present technical presentations to a non-technical audience. We've already mentioned 3 points so far. We are going to the 4th and the 5th. If you can remember the 3rd point that I had mentioned, please put it in the chat if you are done voting. The 4th and the 5th points, friends, are as follows. Next is we gain acceptance. If your purpose is to inform, you've accomplished it once you've built understanding. Remember, we're building understanding at one point. But if you seek to persuade or stimulate attitudinal or behavioral change, you must do more. What do you then do? Getting people to accept and believe your viewpoints involves building rapport, credibility, and trust. To enhance rapport, you should convince the audience you're like them. Self-directed humor, if you can do it effectively, may help. Let me give an example of the artificial intelligence anecdote that we had started with. If we are going to talk about artificial intelligence, you can also give your own examples of how you started off and how you thought it was only for the young people, the Gen Zs, and say, and give the very many mistakes that you made or the difficulties that you had, to show that you also began like them and you use the tips to your advantage to become better. Credibility and trust are appropriate for you to state your qualifications at the beginning. A good introduction by someone else is vital. Let me restate that statement. It is good to give your credentials to your introducer so that by that introduction, your audience, the non-technical audience, already knows that you are qualified or more than qualified to give that presentation. I'll give the next or the last two tips after we hear our reports, and I'll start with our timer. Over to you, William.
Thank you. If I just may share my screen real quick here. All right, maybe I won't. Just in the interest of time, I will give you the highlights. For the icebreaker, Rashmi, you clocked in at 5:32, so that's well within time. And Njeru, speech was 5 to 7 minutes. You clocked in at just a little over at 7 minutes, 11 seconds. For the table topics, I'm pleased to report that Brenda at 136, Lydia at 153, Eric at 139, Joyce at 125, all well within time. Evaluations, here is where we got a little bit hung up, not so bad, but Chapi, your evaluation was at 1 minute and 47 seconds, so below time. Teresa, you clocked in at 3:14. Winston, I'll come back to you at the end. Wahiga, your evaluation was to be 2 to 3 minutes. You clocked in at 4:23. Njoroge, you also clocked in from 2 to 3 minutes, and your final result was at 3:19. Winston, I made my best effort at the last minute to combine both together. So your first review was at 3 minutes, 2 seconds, and your second evaluation was at 2:38. Elsewhere, I have kept tabs of the different parts, and I'll send my full report after this. Back to you, presiding officer. Thank you.
Thank you, William, for your efficient timing. Please send our regards to the DiploSpeak Toastmasters. Next is our grammarian, super grammarian, if I may add, Winston Owino, to deliver your report.
Let's start with what went well as far as the use of grammar is concerned. The word of the day was fairly used, and Kevin registered the highest use of this word. In certain instances, correctly, in certain instances, I'll need to talk to you after this. But all in all, thank you for using it. Even one of our speakers, Rashmi, used it, in fact, correctly when she said we availed the acronym. Secondly, the topics master used her session as an opportunity to introduce to us words that we can add to our vocabulary. Words such as bold, radiant, quirky, majestic, whimsical, among others. Topics master, a great approach to your role. Thirdly, there was good use of language in general. Here are some examples. Procrastination is the thief of time. Rashmi's speech title, it was well crafted. Dare, evaluate, shine. My story of learning to lead. That built into, that made us rather enthusiastic about listening to her speech. Then there was shift from financial mindset to investment mindset. Kudos to all those who used language in its proper form. Where can we improve? 3 areas. Firstly, pronunciations. One of us said meme. I believe the correct pronunciation is meme. And of course, when we pronounce words incorrectly, it also makes your audience not understand what you're referring to. Thus, communication, introducing a communication barrier. Secondly, colloquialism. This is where some of us used grammar casually. For example, one of us said, "What time is it there?" That's more of a direct translation. The proper way of putting it would have been, what's the time where you are? Simple, but still grammatically correct. Thirdly, use of nouns in their correct forms. One of us said, risky about this place. I believe what they were referring to is risk associated with this place. As I conclude, what are some of the strategies that we can use to improve our grammar? Firstly, read. Read books where good grammar has been used. Secondly, practice it in your writing and also in your speaking. And then thirdly, listen to content where either native English speakers are speaking or just content in general that espouse good pronunciation and proper use of grammar. And with that, I hand it over to the president.
Thank you, Winston, for that powerful and comprehensive report on your role as Super Grammarian today. As fate would have it, our general evaluator is no longer with us. Or he's alive, it's just that he dropped out. My request is that we deliver our general evaluation. I'd like us to raise our hands and share what we think we did well or what actually went well during this meeting and what we can improve moving forward. Let's take it as table topics round 2. And to do this, I'm going to call upon people unless you volunteer yourselves. I'll start with Toastmaster Fatma Amio, our most recent member. Then I will go to Winston, who has raised his hand. Fatma, are you able to unmute and share one recommendation and one commendation?
Thank you very much, our president. One commendation is the level of preparedness of all the role takers, from the speakers to evaluators to the other role takers. So good job. The recommendation is on the replacements in good time, so that then, supposing someone had joined the meeting and there's a change, I think that prior communication really helps. But I believe all those who have stepped in have done an amazing job. Congratulations. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Fatma Amio, our newest baby. in Watabaruku. Winston, over to you.
Two quick commendations. One, first, rather, goes to William. I really loved how he seamlessly was changing his background even as he was speaking. That went well with the theme, getting technical. And then Sarah's session was quite creative. And I thought probably people would struggle to respond, but still, it was quite easy. So, Sarah, keep that. That was quite creative. Probably the commendation, and here, not commendation, but recommendation would be even to myself, backup power when you're joining online meetings. Where I am, it was raining heavily just before I was introduced, and then the power flickered. So I was kicked out of the meeting. So that's a note to myself too. Back to you.
Thank you, Winston, for your contribution. Anyone else would like to give a go? We're actually doing quite well on time, and that's something I'm happy about. Joyce Kibe, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad to be here this evening. It's my first time in this club, and I'm happy with what I am seeing. I like the way things are being done here, especially the evaluation. That is another angle that I didn't know, and I have learned a lot. Well done on that. Something also I have also noted is the taking up of roles and coming in when some people have dropped. That was really efficient. So for me, it's just to give you a shout out and keep it up. Good work. Back to you.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you that you could join us tonight in vibrant yellow. Anyone else would like to give us feedback, points of improvement and areas of excellence? I will ask someone who hasn't. Yes, over to you, Toastmaster Njoroge of the Hill, Sergeant at Arms of the Hill.
Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club. Indeed, you are living up to the connotation advanced. I have not seen a club where we actually have this kind of arrangement where every virtual participant can give feedback to the various speakers. I think that's a good area that you're doing very well on. That helps to encourage each speaker. Sometimes in online meetings, speakers just give speeches but don't leave with that feedback that helps them to grow. I think that is an area you're doing really well, and you should keep up on that. Again, the organization of this meeting and the fact that you've been able to keep time is a kudos area for me. I'm not sure whether kudos is an appropriate grammatical term. Grammarian can tell us, but that was really good. For now, I am not thinking of any major areas of improvement. Keep advancing.
Thank you, Njoroge. It's always a pleasure to have you in any meeting. Last and not least, I'd like Sarah of Muyenga Toastmasters to give us feedback, both areas of improvement and areas of excellence. Over to you, Sarah. Oh. Toastmaster Sarah, can you hear us? I think she has dropped out. President Rashmi, over to you.
First, I will say thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day and DTM Kevin. This was a wonderful session. And I like the way how you all in Advanced Toastmaster Club, the way you prepared from beginning, how you set up the group, and you had the new thing this time that I learned is you had 4 particular speech. So that was quite something to take away for me, and how because your session is of different type, your advanced club, and you are having 3 evaluations. So sometimes for a new speaker, it will be difficult. But how you broke it down, and you also mentioned how you will be evaluated based on the manual. So that was something commendable. And as far as the so everything that I saw today, I'm learning. So it is new for me to be on an online club and participate in that. So I will give a big round of applause to all of you. All of you were able to take the roles also when somebody was not able to do that. So that was also good. And I think I have only commendation right now because I'm learning the rest of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rashmi. And we are as well learning with you. There is a comment in the chat on timing. Just a humble note from the timer perspective. Please include the theme topic presentations that we saw at the end of each section as part of the agenda items. Noted. And I will be getting back to you personally on that, William. Or would you like to would you like to vocalize it?
Thank you. So just to amplify on that, so when you were speaking at the, presenting the different points of the theme of the day, that wasn't necessarily accounted for in the agenda and therefore bypassed my time. The good news, however, is we are still overall within time. That's all. Thank you.
Understood, and thank you for that point. Great. We are joined back. Sarah has joined us back. Sarah, are you able to give us feedback? You are, I think, the only one who hasn't spoken in this meeting, and I will be remiss, it will be remiss of me if I do not give you an opportunity to do so.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity and for the opportunity to join the club. It's my first meeting, and I had a great time and a lot of learning. It's beautiful the way that you're doing things. The presenters and everyone that got to contribute. I look forward to attending many more of the other meetings for the club. And I must say that everything is a clear demonstration to the rest of other clubs on how online meetings should be conducted for those that have attended. Thank you.
Thank you. And you're from Muyenga Toastmasters Club?
Yes, I'm from Muyenga Toastmasters Club.
Thank you.
Yes.
Send our regard to them.
Thank you.
Most welcome. And thank you all for your feedback. As we conclude this theme of presenting, let's go technical, presenting technical material to non-technical people, these are the last 2 points you can consider. 5 is to help them remember. Use visuals to illustrate and clarify. Diagrams, especially on PowerPoint, props can go a long way, as many people remember what they both see and hear. Most importantly, both what they see and what they hear. That will increase retention, not just what they hear alone. And the last point is to stimulate action. Now that you've given your technical presentation, what exactly do you want them to do? Just like a speech has a call to action, your technical presentation should empower your audience to do something. For example, take up artificial intelligence tools as ways to develop themselves both personally and professionally. Friends, in summary, let's go technical. Do not be afraid to use the skills you've learned in Toastmasters to amplify your presentations that are technical to a non-technical audience. Thank you for being an active audience. I have enjoyed your presence. I hope you can say the same for me. I will now hand over the meeting back to myself as we call on our Sergeant at Arms to give us the results of our polls. Over to you, Tigist.
Thank you so much, DTM Rubia, acting president. I think at this point, it's only fair to say that everybody who has participated has won in their own rights. We had polls in 3 categories: better speaker, best table topics speaker, and best evaluator. I think all of them took the opportunity this meeting availed to them to shine. So congratulations to all of them, first of all. So the results are ready. I think we can start by announcing the best table topics speaker. Drum rolls, please. I'm not hearing anything. So the best table topic speaker this evening, it was a tie between Brenda Kikai and Eric Macquarie. Well done to both of you. And next up is best evaluator. Drum rolls, please. The best evaluator is Njoroge Maina. Congratulations, Njoroge. And the better speaker is Njeru. Congratulations to all of you. And we normally display the certificates, but today has been quite a dance as most of us are filling many roles, but we'll share them with you shortly. Thank you, everyone. And back to you, Acting President DTM Rubia.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. She took, by the way, this is one of her first chances being an active Sergeant at Arms, as she has been away. Thank you very much, Tigist, and congratulations on a well-delivered role. It is 8:56 p.m. I'd like, for the visiting Toastmasters in the room, could you kindly tell us which clubs you are from and what times they meet to wrap up this meeting before I call it to a close? I'll start with Lydia Wanjiku. Over to you.
Thank you very much, TMOD. My club is WFPRBN, and we normally meet the second week on Wednesday from 1 to 2 o'clock, the second week of the month and the fourth week of the month from 1 to 2. And it's virtual. Back to you.
Thank you. 1 a.m.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. just for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second and fourth Wednesdays, 1 to 2 p.m. East African time. Njoroge Maina, over to you.
Hello, hello. I am told that 13% of Kenyans earn 14,000, or rather 14% of Kenyans earn less than 13,000 Kenya shillings in a month. Now you take that 1 and 3 in the 13,000 Kenya shillings and you know when the Hill Toastmasters meets. 1 and 3 is the magic number, I tell you. First and third Tuesday of the month. Don't think further. And guess what? We are meeting this coming Tuesday, online though, but our typical meetings are hybrid. So if you want to attend our first meeting and feel whether it's cold or warm on top of the hill, maybe I would like you to come to our club on the 7th of October, which will be the first Tuesday of next month. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the time window, and the venue is Nairobi Club, Ngong Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Njoroge. Joyce Kibe.
Njoroge, you always make me smile. So So our club, it's a corporate club. So we meet, and not to shut anyone out. So our club meets every second Thursday of the month in the morning at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And then the fourth Thursday of every month, that is a hybrid meeting. So we have our physical at Kenyatta Avenue branch, first floor at Stanbic Bank. You're all welcome.
Thank you, Madam President. Brenda Kakai.
Hi, everyone. Brenda Kakai from the Muju Toastmasters Club in Kampala, Uganda. So when you visit Kampala, please come visit us. We meet every second and fourth Friday of the month from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and we meet at the Muju premises. We'll be happy to have you join us. And our speech contest is on 11th October. Again, if you're in Kampala, please come. We'd love to have you join us. Over.
Thank you, Brenda. Rashmi?
Yeah, we are at the Toastmasters Club, Tanzania, and we meet every first, third, and fifth Thursday of the month from 5:45 to 8:15, and the fifth Thursday being Speakathon, we meet up to 8:30 p.m. And everyone who comes to DAR is welcome to attend our meeting. We are a very vibrant and energetic community. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam President. It is now 9 p.m. Allow me to just extend for 2 minutes so that you can hear the other Toastmasters represented, where they meet and when they meet. We'll start with William.
Thank you, sir. I'm from DiploSpeak Toastmasters, which is a corporate club that's part of the U.S. Embassy here in Nairobi, Kenya. We meet on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month from noon until 1:15 p.m. East Africa time. In addition to meeting in person, we are a hybrid club. So if you wish to join us, you can certainly join us online. And if there, depending on the situation or need, we may be able to allow or invite people to attend in person on the compound. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Wahiga Gichinga.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. I am a member of 2 clubs. I used to ask people how they can be members of 2 clubs. Now here I am. I'm a member of Valuable Toastmasters. We meet on the first and third Wednesday of every month, 6:30 a.m. And I've recently joined another club. It's called Leadership Speak. We meet every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. East African time.
Great. That makes all of us, unless Olive, are you a visiting Toastmaster? We'd like to know which club you're joining us from, or are you new to Toastmasters?
Sorry, I've actually been busy. I am joining the Muju Toastmasters Club from Uganda. Yes.
Great. Muju has been well represented. Thank you, Olive, for
You're
joining
welcome.
us amidst your busy schedule. We truly appreciate you, and I indeed appreciate you, friends from all over East Africa and beyond. It is 9:02 p.m. East African time. I call this meeting. I've just remembered something, sorry. Before I call the meeting to a close, our next meeting is going to be on the 10th of October. That is Moi Day in Kenya. We shall still meet online. Our Toastmaster of the day will be our club president, Robert Karanja, DTM. And we still have open roles for general evaluator, timer, grammarian, content evaluator 1 and 2 of each speech. Please reach out to me should you want to take up any of these roles. And please do not drop out. Over to you, Njoroge. Maina, your hand is raised.
Just 30 seconds. Guess what is happening on the 10th of October during the day before your meeting? Before you come to the Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club meeting on the 10th of October, SAAs from Division A and B in District 114 will be meeting at Arboretum, Nairobi. And all Toastmasters are welcome. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the time. We are planning it as SAAs, but every Toastmaster is welcome. Dr. Kevin, sorry for extending the time, but I'll send more details I'll send you the details so that you can share them to the rest of us later to allow us not to butcher the time any further. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. And I appreciate that. I should be making it to Arboretum on that day. And I hope many of us can join Njoroge and I. Watabaruku members, you are also reminded to renew your membership. Thank you, friends. Calling meeting number 122. Calling it adjourned. Calling meeting number 122 adjourned. Tick. Yay. Thank you. You are